Three, two, one, boom. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Anonymous Tomorrow podcast. Let's talk crack or meth or whatever. I don't even know. Let's talk about that crystal meth, baby. $600 a G. Did the price change? I don't know. When I was a kid, that's what I was going for. I heard. I never tried it before. You know, I don't know. Without incriminating myself, I guess you could say that I hung out with some pretty stupid people. Anyway, welcome. You know, first off, why do we have this problem here? Why? It's important to know why, not to just be aware that we have this problem. We got a big fucking problem with it, right? Or at least that's what the media tries to. They got a crackhead and a pedophile up there like every single other hour, dude. It's ridiculous already. Is that the shit that's happening for real, or? Because let's backpedal for a second here, right? What is the thing you saw the most as a fucking young kid growing up in Guam? Like in terms of crime. The thing that's taboo to talk about. That's why I named this thing, first of all. That's why I named this thing the Anonymous Tomorrow. Because this is not just for me to be anonymous, but it's for others to just nod their head, whether in the fucking the toilet, the kemun, or the bedroom, by themselves, or in the back kitchen smoking a cigarette, right? Nod their heads in agreement, but they can't agree with me in public about these you know these relatively controversial topics. So what is the biggest crime that you've seen at home, aside from the fucking your uncle busting out the baggie of whatever, right? It's fucking domestic violence, right? Let's be real. And it's not just wife beaters, whatever the fuck, right? It's people just going to war with each other, right? Our family, we're very passionate people, right? We'll brawl with each other. Perhaps we won't kill each other. Sometimes we do, but for the most part, it gets out of hand where the cops got to get called, right? Because no one's listening to mom. She keeps hitting everyone with the fucking broom in the head, but they're not listening. They're like fucking pit bulls or lockjaw. They just want to kill each other, right? So we've seen that all the time, right? So that's our part of our upbringing. We laugh about it now, right? We're mature enough, right? To be like, every family got problems, you know, which is true, But the things that we got to be careful of the things that we normalize, though, like arguing in front of children, you know, or when you divorce or you leave your other half, and you keep telling your child how much of a piece of shit their mom or dad is, and some don't, but some do. Some that say that they don't do too. So whatever. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that we just got to be careful because of the impressionable children. And they do what you do, not what you say, right? Most of the time. So you beat on their wife, they're gonna beat on their fucking girlfriend or wife, vice versa, whatever, right? Whatever the social norm is, whatever you're surviving on doing, they're gonna do, you know. So we got to be careful how we treat them. Why do I bring that up? Is because I think that if we're gonna attack our drug problem on our island, right? We've got to find the root cause of why our people are falling into the hole. Who gives a fuck how much money the man's making, man? Fuck him at this point, man. I don't give a fuck, you know. Um, who gives a fuck that the yakuza mafia is? Fuck all that, right? That's the government trying to fucking scare us, right? Of the big monster, right? So yeah, those are there and those are very fucking real. But there's something that we can do. We need to organize, right? We don't need to hire a government agency. We don't need no fucking mandanyata. We need them, but we don't need them as much as they think that we do. What we need is to collectively, or if not individually, hold ourselves accountable and start doing stuff for us. And by doing that, we've got to understand the reason why people decide to turn to these very hardcore drugs, right? Now, some people have you believe, and we all know this is true from the old school commercials back when fucking weed was the devil, right? They used to show these fucking weed commercials, how fucking people's lives get fucked up because all they do is sit on the couch and get stoned, right? And eat fucking Cheetos or whatever the fuck, right? So it's just people that made bad decisions at a party or something, you know? Hey, Do you want to fucking go do a line of cocaine off my iPhone in the bathroom? Shit like that, right? Although there are some exceptions to people like that, I'll admit, right? 9 times out of 10, it is from people choose to do these things because they feel like there's no way out and they're just trying to feel good. I promise you that. How many people do you know in your family that had a rough patch in their life and turned to drugs? And you didn't find out until later. Either they ended up in jail or by an umbiriquera or umbiriquero family relative who keeps tabs on them, and finally fucking told you, spread the rumor. And that's how you found out. How many times? More often than not, right? They've been through a lot and then they just decided to hang out with these people that are involved in clandestine activity. And then they just fall in the hole. So, very common story, right? I'm not spitting anything new here, right? But knowing that, so then we can say that those commercials, this propaganda that they're spitting at us is inaccurate, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is one of the root causes is behavioral health and diseases of despair, which according to Wikipedia, which is a suck-ass website, I know, but just to get this thing going, right, and to keep the boat orientated in the right direction, Wikipedia defines diseases of despair as, quote, the diseases of despair are three classes of behavior related to medical conditions that increase in groups of people who experience despair due to the sense that their long-term social and economic outlook is bleak. Social and economical outlook is bleak, right? That's a disease. What the fuck, right? Or it's like I don't know, the cause of the disease, right? Wikipedia goes on to say the three disease types are drug overdose, suicide, and alcoholic liver disease. What are we also known for in the South Pacific besides the fucking meth problem? Suicide, big time, right? And we're just lucky because we can hold our own alcohol, right? But we know, and the gout gets real and the fucking elbow gets swollen. What's that from? Just drinking and partying too much? Yeah, maybe so. Probably more often than not. Some of them people just like to be alcoholics because they feel the need to be anesthetized, just like people who smoke meth, just like people who do heavy drugs, just like people who hang themselves, because their long-term social and economic outlook is bleak. So if you're like, oh, they just made the wrong decision, they should have zigged instead of zagged. Yeah, but you gotta understand that people's starting lines are different, man, right? So going back to the person to the kids who have to go and pick up their meals during this lockdown thing because they only eat when they're at school. How the fuck do you expect that malnutrition child to fucking pay attention in school if you didn't feed him breakfast? He's gonna go to his class and fall asleep on the table, and then his teacher's gonna be like, "You're fucking, you don't, or why don't you pay attention in school?" Da, 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 da. Then you'll be like, "Wow." The kid's gonna be like, "Wow, I'm a piece of shit." Get sent to the principal's office. Then they're gonna put him in the fucking, remember in around middle school, the opportunity room. Then you're gonna start doing janitorial shit and getting smoked and doing all kinds of stupid shit. And then you're on top of your homework. You're like, "Wow, this is me. I'm a piece of shit," right? And then next thing you know, you get out with you hook up with other pieces of shit, and then you don't finish your high school, so you don't even have a GED either. You fucking try to get work, but it's hard without a fucking high school diploma, especially in these days, right? But I'm not even talking about these days. We're talking about like, maybe 15, 20 years back, right? It's not uncommon to drop out of high school and try to get a job, right? Blah, 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 blah. Doing it now would be a nightmare. You can't get a job, right? So you turn to, you hang out with other people who are taibida, right? That are not doing shit, hanging out at their fucking parents' house and your parents' house. Then your family finally gets tired of your shit and be like, "How come you're always hanging out here? Aren't you gonna fucking do something, you low life piece of shit? Why don't you get a job? You don't even pay rent here. Mom's paying for everything." So you're like, "Wow, I'm a piece of shit." So not only did society tell me I'm a piece of shit, but the ones who are supposed to love me tell me I'm a piece of shit. So I guess I am a piece of shit. Now, granted, people can make smart decisions from here and understand what's going on again, right? But like I said, everybody who was nurtured different, raised different, educated different, maybe might not be able to see that and just accept that they're pieces of shit. So they end up going down the route of, of fucking sin or whatever, right? And start doing stupid shit. And then next thing you know, they steal their cousin's bush cutter 2 doors down, right? The dumbass. And then they get caught, and then they say something stupid on KOAM like, I was gonna sell the bush cutter and buy some methamphetamines and then flip the methamphetamines and smoke some and then buy him a brand new bush cutter. So and they tell the cops that. And then what do they do? They post it on Facebook. We fucking crack up about it. It's a fucking, and we roast them on the comment section. It's a fucking cycle of stupidity, and it starts with education and nurturing and all kinds of other shit in the beginning that leads up to the Keck problem, right? All these fucking gangsters and fucking bullshit artists and fucking drug dealer, whatever bullshit man, bitch ass motherfuckers, right, are doing is feeding this beast. They didn't create this beast, we did. They're just feeding it and making it stronger. You see what I'm saying? So I think that we need to kill the beast within ourselves first before we go after those people who would take advantage of our despair, is what I'm trying to say. That's all these bad guys are doing, is taking advantage of our despair. Surfacing to feed these needs, whether that be fucking buy me drinky bitches, or fucking methamphetamine, whichever one, right? So I think we need to take that into account and hold ourselves accountable and try to figure this shit out, because I think it goes deeper than just arresting the meth heads, It's got to go deeper than that. God bless.